Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? My dudes and dudesettes. Happy Saturday, baby. Happy weekend. It's a Warframe weekend, man. I really enjoyed the game. We're going to keep pushing. Got some objectives, personal objectives. We're trying to get, yo, Dutch, what's up? Good, buddy. How you been? Good, man. It's good to see you. What you been up to? So we got the Necros Prime blueprints. We got to grind for some of the resources we need to get those popping off, to get those created, and so we'll do some of that, and then we'll keep progressing with some of the story. I think we're gonna have some friendos playing today, probably a little bit, and then on Monday we will kick off some Divinity Original Sin, and that'll be our first playthrough of that. We're gonna play that for the most part. Most of that gaming will be played in co-op with our buddy Pinky, our mod here. My name is Pinky, so that should be fun. Yeah. So let's go ahead, and before we can get into our gaming, you guys know what's up. We got to do what we do, right? Let's go ahead and get into the video gaming news segment for March 11th. Let's get over here. First of all, this is the jam. This is what we're jamming out to this morning. The oh, that was weird. The Bullets Per Minute soundtrack, man. This is an amazing roguelite, first-person shooting, rhythm-based game. It's a very, very cool game. I highly recommend, if any of that sounds like something that would be fun to you, I cannot recommend enough. This game is a ton of fun. Very cool art style, too. Very well developed. Indie dev as well. And the soundtrack's just full of bangers, man. It's not, like, super long or anything, but it's got some great music in it. So go check it out. Cool? Yeah. Kill it. Let's get in here. Been playing what? Drone Racing League Simulator, huh? You enjoying it? If you're playing a lot of it, you must be. I haven't played it, man. Goodness. I might be getting stun locked by an eyelash here. I think we'll be alright. Cool. Yeah, we kind of knew this was happening. Yeah, Nintendo's discounting popular Switch games for Mario Day. So we'll take a peek at that for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. Make sure everybody knows where they can get some discounts, because it doesn't happen very often for Nintendo games, you know what I mean? So if we can get some people some deals, we got to get them where we can. Pull it up for everybody. Go questing with this build your own bundle. It's probably either Fanatical or Humble bundle. Probably Humble, but we'll see what's going on there. Wait, what? Is this? We can't read this whole thing. Yeah, we knew that. Happy. What's up, Kepi? How are you, my friend? Good morning. Well, it's a bit early for you to be in here. You know what I mean? Look, I'm not complaining. Usually hop in here a little bit later than this, though. How are you? What's up? Happy Saturday. Is this? They're just talking about the new release date, I think, for it. I'm not going to dive into this. Look, if you didn't already know, they just a couple of days ago announced the release of the official release date, new official release date for Starfield, right? Gamer, what's up, buddy? How are you, man? Get in here, bro. Get in here, dude. So the new official release date for Starfield is as you can see, 6 September, right? So 6 September is Starfield. June 11th. June 11th is a dedicated Bethesda showcase for it. So we got about 3 months. 3 months, we'll get a dedicated showcase. And then 3 months later, the game will release. So dedicated showcase. And then within those next 3 months before release, we'll get more info that comes out. That's how it traditionally happens, right? And then we will get the game released as long as there's no more delays on September 6th. Okay, so we've already hit on that on the news the past couple of days. I'm not going to dive into this article, but if you didn't know, now you know. All right. We've already got stuff up about Nintendo savings. Square Enix news, what they're planning to release. Let's see what's going on there. Cappy, came back from an impromptu stay at my parents' house. Oh. Starfield sounds like it could be the name of a folk tale. It might turn into that. Coming from Bethesda and old Hod Toward, you know what I mean? It might become more of a legend than a folktale, I guess. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Cappy, how's everything going? I know that you'd had last a few days ago or a couple days ago, whenever we were talking, it had been a bit of a rough go, man. How are things shaking out for you? Game Pass losing one of the best games ever made. That'll be a bit, subjective, but we'll see. We'll see. It's probably a good title. We'll see what it is. Okay, good. That's good. That's good. I'm glad. How are you, though? How are you doing? That's an even better question. How about that? People would usually assume that somebody states that things around me are getting more normal. That would mean that you're feeling a bit better about things, but that's not always the case, right? Did you go, are the eggs where they should be? Oh, if they're not, then yes, we are out of those eggs. Right? I mean, but counting on people to have, critical thinking and logic doesn't always work. PS Plus subscribers. Yeah. PS Plus subscribers divided over new free games. See what's going on there. Yeah, we saw yesterday the Suicide Squad video game is been delayed. Um, yeah, they said they needed to delay it to work on some polish and stuff like that. So the a lot of the criticism they're receiving on the front of this game, good. Well, I hope you feel better. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I hope you feel better. Um, a lot of the criticism coming on the front of this game is they are selling this at a full like AAA price point, right? Uh, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's why um, I can deal with a certain type and amount of people in like a service industry setting, but I do not have patience for idiotic people, um, and people that just you know are self-centered and have no kind of consideration for others, and are just want to be like a-holes to everybody else. Like I don't have patience for it. And I'll straight up just tell those people what they need to hear. That's why like I don't that's why I don't do well in those settings. I just don't have patience for those kinds of people. If you're a nice, cordial individual, and then I have no issues. But when it comes to like, because it always, you always end up having to deal with people that are not those people. Basically Karens, right? You always end up having to deal with some form of a Karen here and there, and I don't deal with it. I don't deal with it. Suicide Squad is a game that they're pushing out as a full price, 60. There's a $60 base version, a $70 deluxe version, and they've got a ton of other monetization mechanics incorporated into the game. A lot of gamers nowadays are fed up with it, and we talk about it a lot. There's a difference between a free-to-play game that needs to make some money, and they have to incorporate some monetization schemes within to try to make a profit. We understand that. But for games to do this kind of thing, this is gross. This is like the Marvel's Avenger kind of thing. And it's turning a lot of people off. But they're not straying away from this model. They're just taking time to polish it. So not only are they getting backlash for a lot of the monetization stuff that's happening in the game, but there are also delays happening with the game now, which is not a great indicator. Look, delays are fine. A delay. I would say a delay, even maybe two, is acceptable. But you start seeing more than that, that's usually an indication that something's going wrong, Well, you miss delays? Delays happen all the time, Dutch. And that's what I'm getting at. Delays. So here's the problem, dude. Here's the problem. Not enough? Sometimes. Here's the issue, dude. This is the problem. We've gotten ourselves into this situation where delays were not happening, right? Delays were not happening. And so it's not just, so developers get pushed by publishers is a big part of it, right? And so I think from a consumer and a gamer fan standpoint, for quite a while, we've been trying to make developers feel like they need to be more comfortable with delays. And I think that a lot of developers are getting to that place. You see a lot more delays than you did 5 years ago. Does it mean that there are still companies that are pushing too hard and not delaying a game whenever they should? Absolutely. Is it ever going to be perfect? No, it's not. Because ultimately, it's on that company to say, we need to go ahead and delay. And they need to be able to put their foot down and do it, right? So ultimately, it lies on them to say, we are not going to push this out yet. It's not ready. And so this is the thing. This is what I have seen quite often. Okay. The flip side of this, what has happened in regards to more delays being accepted in the industry. It is a more acceptable thing than it was half a decade ago. That is for sure. Okay. There's no doubt about it. Because there's been too much there've been too many examples of terrible stuff, bad launches, exactly, like things like whether it be No Man's Sky or things like Cyberpunk those are two great examples. I don't think we need to come up with any more, but there are tons of them out there. We could keep going and going and going, right? So delays are necessary. They need to happen, right? And I say this all the time. I would much rather a game get delayed, right? And to have it come out and feel polished and good and like it was worth my money, rather than it come out, Hogwarts Legacy, and feel like I got cheated out of my money. you know? So I think many of us feel that way nowadays. And I think developers are getting more comfortable with that. Now, the thing that is happening, though, on the flip side of this is I think that, and it's a difficult situation because there's something to be said for hype train, right? So companies with marketing and everything like that, they want to build up hype around the game and stuff. So, but where I feel like there's like some mistakes being made are there's not a great effective communication happening between developers and publishers and like marketing departments and things like that, to where the developer's saying, oh, hey, through the development process, this is the date we're trying to hit. And then publishers and marketing, they're just going, okay, this is when it's hitting, right? So they're just like pushing out these dates. And developers, they're not really talking to the developers through the process and stuff. And so that is setting in maybe quite often an unrealistic date where dates are getting set where it was really initially potentially supposed to be like a tentative date, right? And then it ends up getting pushed more and more and more as a hard date, not by the developer necessarily, but as the more business side of the company, right? Whether it be the publisher or the marketing or what have you, yeah? So then the developer feels more pressure to get it out at that point too. And it's resulting in windows, right? So we've got, oh, here's a window. Oh, no, we can't push it out then. It's getting delayed. Here's another window. Oh, it's not going to be ready yet. Let's push it back. Here's another window, you know? And I think that's one of the things that is starting to get mauling for a lot of people too, right? So there's like this entirely different situation that we've worked our way into in the gaming development within the industry, where it's these big broad windows that get pushed out, and then a delay happens, and then they're like, okay, well it'll be down the line here now, and then it's like, oh, there's another delay, and I'll tell you this, more often than not, whenever I see a game that has like more than 2 delays in the development process that have been publicly announced, like it was supposed to come out at this time or within this window or whatever, and it gets delayed, and there's more than 2 of those that happen, there's usually something wrong with that game. On release, that game usually has issues, and I stay away from it. It's been a pretty tried and true lesson for me. It's about 9 times out of 10. 8 to 9 times out of 10, when there are those kinds of delays, multiple delays like that, it's also a pretty good indicator there's something wrong in the development process. Fiddlesticks. Somebody ban him. I'm just kidding. But I know, Cappy. So yeah, I don't think that, I mean, I will say that I agree, Dutch. Pinky's got it. Yeah, what's up, Doug? Dutch, I agree. I think that there are new issues with the delay process and developers feeling comfortable with it outside of what maybe it used to be like half a decade ago. So it's still there. It's just maybe in not necessarily the same way it was viewed 5 years ago. 5 years ago, it was like, we just got to get it out. Don't worry about, no delays, can't delay it, just push it out. And it was just constantly us being debated and buying hyped up games that felt like crap. And now there's like this different weird issue that's happening with games that keep getting delayed, It's needed. Games need to feel comfortable being delayed. But then when they constantly get delayed, that's a pretty good indicator that something might be going awry, if you will, within that development process, right? Oh, I absolutely agree. No doubt about it. This is my thing, and I've been taking this stance for a while now. The internet should not be viewed by developers as a crutch to fix games with. Okay? That is how I view this. I think developers need to get back into the mindset. It's a great, very nice utility to have for them to be able to address issues that were unforeseen or something like that. But it's used all too often as a crutch to be able to just go, oh, push it out. We'll fix it after the release, you know? And that sucks. So I think developers need to get back into the mind state of releasing games more along the lines of what they used to do before the internet was so widespread and prevalent, right? You know, games had to be very, very polished back then because you weren't able to just patch everything and fix everything after you released it. It just wasn't happening, right? And as the internet has, and don't get me wrong, dude, games have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're more elaborate. There's a lot more unforeseen stuff. I understand that, but there's no denying the fact that there are a lot of developers out there that push games out going, and they know they're not finished, and they're like, "We'll fix it after the fact. Just get it out. We'll fix it after the fact. We'll patch it over the internet. You know, we'll patch it up. It'll be fine. They'll still buy it. And I hate that mindset. And I think that is where a lot of this has also created issues. And it's not all developers, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of developers that do a great job of pushing games out in a very, very, very good state. But then there are a lot that use it as a crutch too. Day one patch versus early access. Well, early access is a whole different issue too, isn't it? I mean, you want to talk about some early access issues, dude? Go look at 7 Days to Die. We're talking 9 years of early access now, dude. You know? So, Dutch, I agree with you. I agree with you on many of those fronts. But I think it's changed a little bit in the regards to how comfortable many developers are with delays. It's just there have been some other issues that have come up with it. Is it really? Project Zomboid's longer? I had no idea, dude. Yeah, Cappy, I agree. Yeah. And Gamer, absolutely, dude. Yep. Yep. And I mean, look, here's the thing. If it means, Gamer, in regards to what you put, much rather wait for a game to release and have it be finished instead of day one patches. If that means they need to delay numerous times, you know, yeah, that's a Hod Toward quote right there, Gamer. That's a famous. That's like Todd Howard's meme, dude. It just works. That is so famous from Todd Howard. Yeah. Ultimately, yeah. And how many ever delays they need to take to make a game feel good before releasing it, that's what they should be doing, right? But again, what I was talking about is not setting themselves up in a situation where they have to keep publicly delaying a game. I mean, we're talking about, like, you look at Ubisoft's game, what's the Skull and Bones? Man, dude, that game has been delayed, 6 or 7 times now? Dude, that's not a good look. You know what I mean? So setting themselves up in a way where they're not having to publicly delay a game that many times, because that is a very, very bad look, you know? But, I mean, at least they're taking measures to not release it before, you know, it's in a good state. At least Bethesda sells you a game 15 times before they release a new one. Oh, jeez, bro. Yeah. Yeah, Cappy. Yeah, I agree. And again, look, it's not a real easy situation all the time because you've got. I guarantee you, man. I guarantee you, on the developer side of things, you've got many, many, many developers, especially on these big AAA games and stuff. You've got a lot of developers that are actually, you know, in the development trenches, if you will, working on these titles that are telling their bosses, this is not ready. We need to keep working on this. And they just basically get ignored, right? I guarantee you that happens all the time. And then you've got all these business people, right, that are part of the process, that that have no idea what gaming is about or anything. All they see is dollar signs, or money signs, whatever, currency, and they're like, just get it out. We just got to get it out. Just push it out. It's just about money. We gotta get it out, and then we gotta push on to the next project. And and we talk about that a lot. We've seen a lot of companies that we grew up being in love with, but Bethesda and Blizzard and things like that have turned into those types of companies, right? Where it's not as much about the quality of the content anymore as it is about just being blinded by greed and things like that. So, not that they don't still, put out some stuff that people enjoy, but it's definitely a different thing than what they were initially. Yeah. So, I don't know. Pinky, you ready for some? Who's playing Warframe today, dude? With me. So look, I mean, they're out there. They're out there. They are out there. Here's the thing, Cappy. I think this is where we talk about the indie, the indie part of the industry all the time. Indie developers, right? Indie developers are really setting the standard, right? Now, that's the thing, is being able to force the business side that pervades the gaming industry to conform. Good luck, man. Good luck. The thing that we're lucky that we have is we have the indie side of things. And not to say, look, you want to talk about a recent example of a game that got no hype, shadow dropped, and absolutely felt great on release, and is right now my game of the year. I'm talking about Hi-Fi Rush. And that's from Tango, which is a well-known dev. At this point, I think they're a subsidiary of Bethesda, aren't they now? I'm pretty sure, dude. Tango GameWorks, yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Let's look at the wiki. Are they it's it's Microsoft. It's Microsoft. So it's not yeah. So Bethesda's part of Microsoft. So that's what I was thinking. I don't know. Tango is part of Microsoft now as well, because Microsoft acquired ZeniMax, which was the one that had Tango. But you're talking about this game dropped this year, right? Early this year, and was a hit. It has been fantastic. I saw it initially and did not think it was actually kind of a turnoff, because Tango is known for doing horror games, and some of my favorite horror games, Evil Within games. And then I saw Hi-Fi Rush, and I'm like, dude, this is weird. But I also always talk about developers stepping out of their comfort zone and trying to do some different stuff, and they nailed it. Not only was this shadow dropped, it was released at a $30 price point. It felt amazing. There's replayability in it, and it was a great experience. So it happens, Do not blame the individual. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the gamer. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it happens. Like there are occasional examples of if you will, like a diamond in the rough, right? As far as the big AAA devs go, occasionally we'll get surprised by something like that, right? Where there'll be something that's like, oh my god, dude, not all hope is lost. Yeah, not all hope is lost. You'll get your random modes in there, guys. But I think where we really start seeing a lot of um, the the standards for the industry quality wise, right, are really set quite often by the indie developers, right? Nice guys, get them in there. By the indie developers. Indie developers, and I'll tell you why. I think first and foremost why this is because quite often they don't have um, big business partners that are breathing down their necks, trying to get things done as fast as possible, and they are passionate gamers as well. And you can see it in their products, right? So I think there's a couple of reasons why we end up seeing great content come out from indie devs, right? And they usually are the ones that are really kind of setting the bar for the kinds of quality that us as you know, passionate gamers like to see out of developers. And I think that's one of the biggest differences between the indie devs and the big like AA, AAA devs is you don't have a lot of that, you know, that business side always pushing down on them. You know, they're able to stick to their visions and kind of their dreams in regards to what these projects are of gaming software, and they don't have to stray from that really, you know, and they come up with some great content. But we hit on this yesterday, man. Suicide Squad is delayed. Yep. So if you were hyped, when did they say? I can't remember what they said the date was yesterday for the delay. Excuse me. Wait, what? Later this year. That's all it says. Later this year. Okay. So if you were hyped, later this year. All right. Outlast trials are going to finally launch in early access in May, guys. Yo, we just played both the Outlast games this past Scaretober. That was a good time. Those are freaky games, man. Those were freaky games. And nice. We might get to play Outlast trials during this Scaretober. Cool. Have you guys seen the trailer for this? The Dungeons and Dragons movie? Or has anybody seen? I mean, is it out? Did anybody see it? Looks like there's a new Sons of the Forest patch already. No, I mean I saw the trailer. It seemed just kind of, I don't know. It didn't entice me. I don't know what it was about it. I think it I would have liked to have seen like a real nice, like more like kind of a darker, serious, hard dive into the world of D&D, you know, like, and it seems like what they did was push for like a kind of a Dungeons and Dragons comedy flick or something. I don't know, which I don't. It didn't really appeal to me, but it doesn't mean it won't be good. I just probably need to take a chance on it and see what how I feel about it. I love comedy, but it just I think for Dungeons and Dragons, there's so much gnarly stuff in that world that I guess it just comes off as something that would work better as a serious situation. Not that there can't be some. It's kind of like The Witcher, right? The Witcher is a has so much great serious content, but there's also a lot of, you know, there's some good comedic effect in there, and it takes you on a roller coaster ride. And maybe that's what they tried to do with this Dungeons and Dragons movie. Maybe they did well with it. I don't know. Epic is planning more major Epic Games Store exclusives. We read yesterday that Epic is now has kicked off their incorporation for their platform, much like Steam does, of allowing people to publish their own games on Epic, just like developers publish their own games on Steam, right? The thing with Epic is, if you want to publish a game on Epic, it has to be multi-platform. It has to be cross-platform. You cannot publish on their platform if it's not going to be a cross-platform game. We'll see what that was talking about, though. What? Nintendo DS Classic returning after 14 years? What? Fortnite has dropped Windows 7 and Windows 8 support. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Cool. Right on beat. Yeah, I mean, there's some crazy stuff coming out, dude, with like the AI video and audio stuff. It's really wild, dude. You know, with the engines that we have nowadays for like Unreal Engine 5, so and then you incorporate things like how incredibly insane AI has gotten. It's hard to differentiate sometimes between what's real and what's fake. It's kind of crazy. We already knew this. Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo are not going to be part of E3. But summer showcase time is about 3 months away, right? So if E3 happens, which it has not happened over the past 3 years now, if it does happen, there have already been some developers that have decided to be back a part of E3, like Ubisoft. But all the major console players are out. They're not part of it. They'll have their own showcases just like they've done over the past 3 years. I don't think they'll be part of E3 moving forward, really. Not for the most part, anyways. They're deciding to do this stuff on their own. They've kind of been forced into that hand over the past 3 years, and I think they're just going to keep going with it. You know, I was actually surprised whenever I read an update for Fortnite here recently that they were still supporting the game on operating systems that, like, Microsoft doesn't support Windows 7 or 8 anymore. So I was surprised that Fortnite was still supporting versions of the game on those operating systems. But apparently that's done now, just so everybody knows. So if you're still running, let me just give you some advice. If you're running a PC that is connecting to the internet and you're on an operating system that is no longer supported by the developer, right? Like it's no longer receiving updates to remediate vulnerabilities and fix the operating system and make it secure and things like that, you are putting yourself at a great risk. So I cannot stress enough that if you're not aware, Windows 7 and 8 were quit being supported by Microsoft a long time ago. Those do not get updates. And you should have moved on to Windows 10 quite a long time ago. I think Windows 7 stopped support in like, what was 2020 maybe? 8 probably wasn't too far behind that. It might have even been further back than that, but whatever the case may be, you know, there's still a lot of people in Windows 10. It's still supported, but Windows 11 is here. They are Windows 11's been baking for a little bit. They're getting it kind of polished up. A lot of people are transitioning over. It will not be too much longer, probably, before Windows 10 quits receiving support. Yeah, I would say over, probably within the next 2 years, Windows 10 will probably be finished receiving support from Microsoft as well. And everybody should be switching over to Windows 11 if you're connecting to the internet. It's a matter of keeping yourself safe. If you're on a Windows device. If you're running a Windows operating system, that is. Let's go look at our other search here. This is a big deal right now, man. There's a lot of fuss right now about there are games. Redfall has been hit for this. I'm not going to bring this article up because I already know what they're talking about. But Redfall, Suicide Squad's another one. There are a lot of games that are being criticized right now for not being able to be played in an offline mode, or being able to be played offline in their single player mode. Right. I think what a lot of people need to understand is that these games they're talking about, while they can be played single player, they are also multiplayer games that are going to have loot and upgrades and things like that in them, which, allowing people to play offline in a single player mode, I think incorporates more of a possibility for people to inject things into the game while they're not being monitored. And then bring that into the multiplayer environment. So does it mean that they can't find ways to work around that and stuff to make it to where people could still do single player offline and then ensure that nothing is being injected to the multiplayer environment? They could do that. But I think a lot of developers are at the point where they don't want to put in the extra time and work to make that happen. And they would rather just incorporate the entire game as being implementing the requirement for always being online. So, yeah, I mean, for any game that's just a single player game to have any kind of online requirement, I find to be really ridiculous. That's something that's still out there too. But for a game that has both single player and multiplayer, or online multiplayer, I understand more why devs will implement this kind of requirement. But Redfall, which is coming out soon, games like Suicide Squad, they are being heavily criticized right now for implementing this requirement. Yep, there it is. Suicide Squad delayed for second time. Oh, God. Yeah. Forspoken didn't do very well. We kind of knew that. We've hit on that a good amount. Enough. Yeah. Link. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Happy Saturday, friendo. What's up, man? Look, I will start taking E3 seriously around May. I'm well, buddy. Thanks for asking. I'm well. Yep. About to finish up looking for our news articles, man, and we'll start diving into these. I will believe that E3 is actually going to take place. I'll have more of an accepting, I'll believe that more around a month before E3 is supposed to pop off, which it would be in June, right? That's when that normally happens. So if we get to May and E3 has not canceled yet, like they've done the past 3 years, I will actually start diving more into what we would see in E3 because we'll watch it. if it actually happens. I just don't believe it will because we haven't seen it for 3 years. So at that point, we'll take more of a dive into what's potentially going to be there. We've already seen a few, but we've already seen a lot that said they won't be there too. What's new with you, buddy? The RoboCop trailer looked a little bit wild. We saw that during the Nacon showcase, so I'm not going to dive back into it. We watched the Nacon showcase the other day, and the RoboCop looked pretty wild. Nothing for now. Word. Chill day. We also saw this, the Dead Cells Return to Castlevania stuff. That looks pretty neat. That's a pretty solid mashup there, I think. Nice, dude. Nice. Let's see here. Go one more page here, see what we can pull out. New Fortnite and Resident Evil skins have leaked. Take a peek at that for all the Fortnite fans. It's like there's a Battlefield 2042 update. Yeah, we've talked about that yesterday, and I just hit on it again, so I'm not going to pull that up either. All right, let's get into this. The Outlast trials will finally launch in early access in May, guys. We played Outlast 1 and 2 and the Whistleblower DLC this past Scaretober for us, so October of 2022. We play horror games all month long. I set up a bunch of scare alerts and stuff for you guys in chat. It's a good time if you guys haven't seen or been here for that yet. We've done it. We're about to hit our second year of our second year anniversary of streaming. We've done a Scaretober both the first 2 years, and I'm going to keep it going. It's been a great time, and the Outlast games were amazing, dude. They were a really good time. I enjoyed playing those very much. And if this is going to come out this year in early access, we might end up playing this during Scaretober this year.
Murkoff welcomes you to the therapy. Okay, better. The wait is over. The suffering is finally here.
Please tell them to stop!
Get out, you sons of bitches!
Of course it hurts.
I love seeing the voice actors. It's so good.
You won't have to wait much longer.
I'm trying to help!
They gotta see you!
Shuttle leaving in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Like rats!
4,
Like rats!
3, 2, 1.
Dude, that's funny, man. All right. I thought it was that. I didn't know that's what we were going to be watching, but that was pretty cool. It's been a long haul for the Outlast Trials, a 4-player horror game from Montreal studio Red Barrels. It was announced in 2019 as a co-op twist on the hit Outlast horror games. While a planned 2022 release didn't happen, we did learn that PC Gamer News writer Joshua Wollens has a friend he wants to, quote, subject to ethically unsound scientific experiments for progress and profit. His words, not mine, so at least we didn't go away empty-handed, right? Anyway, following a closed beta test in October, yeah, I remember, because it was funny, we were playing Outlast, and then we had some community members going and go, dude, they're actually doing the beta test for the Outlast Trials right now, too. So that was pretty cool. They're attracting nearly 1 million signups. Red Barrels announced today that the Outlast Trials will finally launch into early access on May 18th. Quote, the closed beta was just a taste of what's to come in the Outlast Trials. Red Barrel's co-founder Philip Amorin said, our first round of willing participants to take Parton trials provided us some insightful feedback and very interesting data, which we have used to improve the experience. The Outlast trials is set in the same universe as the previous games, but instead of playing a journalist investigating a spooky insane asylum or cult compound, you've been kidnapped by the Murkoff Corporation for use in a human guinea pig in Cold War era brainwashing and mind control experimentation. The big twist is that you can tackle the trials along. I think that's supposed to be alone. I think, yes, tackle the trials alone. That was a typo. Or in groups of up to 4. The Steam page is vague about how that'll work. Is it the old outrun the bear proverb, or will partners in misery somehow simplify the process of survival and escape? Or what these experiments are all about, but it's clearly not good. If you survive long enough and complete the therapy, Murkoff will happily let you leave, but will you be the same? It muses. In a world of distrust, fear, and violence, your morals will be changed, your endurance tested, and your sanity crushed, all in the name of progress, science, and profit. In pure Outlast fashion, the core gameplay involves avoiding enemies, hiding from them, and trying to run away. Murkoff will provide tools you can use to increase your stealth capabilities, create opportunities to flee, slow down enemies, and more. However, you will have to earn those tools and work hard to improve them. What I'm most curious about is how the Outlast trials will compare to other recent horror games, particularly Soma and Amnesia Rebirth. Both had their share of jump scares and something's chasing me, but they also took a more cerebral approach to the genre that the original Outlast games and were better for it. Will the Outlast trials show a similar type of evolution, or will it stick to the more traditional, quote, bad stuff in the dark formula, or perhaps adopt a more action-oriented approach, maybe something akin to Resident Evil Resistance? We'll find out more in a couple of months. The Outlast trials will be available on Steam and the Epic Game Store. And in the meantime, you can keep up with what's happening on the official Outlast Discord. If you guys need some of these links, I'll throw this in chat for you, okay? Wrong. Yeah, it could be good. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be different, right? I mean, the first 2 Outlast games I enjoy very much as single-player games. So, hopefully they do a good job with incorporating it in a way that you can, either solo through or also being able to, like, play through with friends, The first 2 were great. I enjoyed them very much. They were freaky, man. Very dark. Very dark games. Very, very spooky. I enjoyed them very much. They were cool. Sons of the Forest patch introduces hang gliding and a new boss fight. Okay. So, I am waiting until this game leaves early access to play it. We were planning on playing it on release, but then we found out when they announced the release was going to be early access, I decided to not. What was it, February? Was it the end of January that we played The Forest? And the beginning of February, I think? Yeah. And we played it with our buddy Pinky, and it was a great time. The Forest was so much fun. It was hilarious, and we had a great time. And I was really, we tried to get it played then so we could play Sons of the Forest whenever it dropped. And then we found out it was releasing in early access. And luckily, the developers were very open and verbal with everybody about the fact that they needed more time with the game. They were going to go ahead and release it in early access, but it wasn't going to have all the core game mechanics and lore in it, which prompted me to not take a dive into it yet. I don't want to play the game until all the mechanics and the lore are in the game yet. So it looks like they're getting more stuff rolling out, though. Sons of the Forest has received its first major patch since launching in early access, with developer N-Night Games adding a hang glider, a mid-game boss fight, and more. Patch 1 was released last night. That was 2 nights ago now. And includes a number of new items and features for players to dig up. In terms of new content, the patch introduces binoculars and hang gliders for players to use while exploring, along with the ability to build defensive wall gates at their base. On the topic of bases, players can now lock their doors and grab small furniture they have built. While those changes should prove helpful to players, other additions will make Sons of the Forest much more challenging. Survivors will now run into a mid-game boss fight in the island's food bunker, while regular cannibals now have the ability to jump out from trees to attack players. Nice. Additionally, cannibal villages can now utilize lockout towers, making it harder for players to infiltrate or escape from the settlements. Nice. Finally, N9 Games has teased the addition of some additional story elements, though. has left details for players to discover in-game. Outside of new features, the first big patch for Sons of the Forest also brings a long list of balance tweaks and bug fixes. One highlight includes a fix for Kelvin chopping down trees that have player buildings attached, while other changes include shotgun damage being halved and fixes for a number of bugs that were getting in the way of players building. Okay, cool. They're rolling out patches quick. That's good. It's good. If you guys need anything out of that. For some reason, the Outlast games sound like a dark version of Scooby-Doo and Shaggy fleeing for an entire episode. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much information in there. So it sounds a lot like, the genre of game that has been made so very, very popular by really Dead by Daylight, right? Let's just be real clear. There's Dead by Daylight has been a very popular game for a long time that has made the genre of the, 4v1 horror experience be copied so often, right? We've seen so many games copy that same kind of element, try to put a unique spin on it for themselves, and some have done a decent job of it, some have not. And so yeah, I saw that link. Yeah, they made a mobile version and stuff too. So I don't know. We'll have to see. There wasn't a whole lot of info in that Outlast article to really give us a real good idea of what we could experience, right? But it does sound like it's a 4-player experience. I don't know if it's more of a 4v1 or if it's just like a 4. Did it say 4v1? I don't think it said anything about 4v1. I think it said more like a 4-player experience. That was it. So does that mean it's going to be like 4 survivors playing against the computer? Does that mean it's like 3 survivors playing against 1 user-controlled, antagonist? Who knows, But it sounds like it could be something more along the lines of what we've seen become so popular over the, the course of the past, 5 to 8 years with, the horror aspect of games incorporating the, survive and escape kind of thing with multiplayer, yeah. Epic is planning more major Epic Game Store exclusives. It says smaller titles weren't enough to tempt players to move over from Steam. Okay, let's be clear here. For anybody that is gaming on PC, I never see... I've got accounts on Steam, Epic, GOG. I mean, you name it. I've got accounts all over the place. My go-to is Steam. It has been for a long time. But I have a ton of content on Epic nowadays, too. And I think it's a little bit short-sighted if Epic thinks that they're going to completely move people over from other platforms. It's probably just written that way. It's probably just coming off that way, but I doubt that they actually view it that way, That's just not the way it works. But I think they're doing a good job of incorporating things and mechanics, new stuff for the platform. The free game stuff is great for getting people to come in and making an account and be a part of their platform. And they've got games that people like to play, Fortnite, right? So I think that they're doing a good job to bring people over and be a part of their platform. But if it is actually some kind of thought process behind Epic that they're going to completely move people over from a platform like Steam entirely, I don't see that happening, man. Most of us that are PC gamers, we game across a lot of different platforms depending on what we're trying to get done. We're really honing our strategy based on what we observed worked really well in previous launches. What didn't work really well, and what didn't work really well. Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic, told PC Gamer, Alan Wake 2 looks really, really cool. Have you guys seen this? The Alan Wake 2 announcement trailer. This looks pretty neat if you haven't seen this.
We all come to a story with hopes and expectations, looking for an answer.
I don't know why this is being shown right here, but Alan Wake 2 looks really cool, dude.
Sometimes it would be better to live.
I never played the first one,
without ever finding the story.
but this looks dark.
This is not the story you want it to be. This story will eat you alive.
I don't know why the quality was set so low.
Is a monster. And monsters wear many faces.
I'm interested in Alan Wake 2. That looks pretty neat. Quote, a handful of major exclusives really moved the needle. The smaller games, and the smaller games, especially games that had a smaller audience that was typical on Steam, we found a lot of those players weren't willing to move over. One of the Epic Game Store's biggest exclusives was Borderlands 3, which crushed expectations, according to the marketplace's general manager, Steve Allison. Aside from striking blockbuster deals for third-party exclusives, Epic is also finding the development of games as part of its own publishing label, which was announced in 2020. Upcoming games from the label include Remedy's Alan Wake 2, that's why, and new projects from Limbo maker Playdead and The Last Guardian studio Gen Design. Epic claimed this week that as of last year, there were over 230 million Epic Game Store PC users, up 36 million from 2021. So they're doing something right. 626 new PC titles were added to the store in 2022, taking the total to over 1,500. Players spent $355 million on third-party games, which was up from 18% year over year, although total spending on all games fell 2% to $820 million. Epic has also said it plans to continue giving away free PC titles on a weekly basis throughout 2023. The next free Epic Game Store title was revealed on Thursday. Warhammer 40,000 Gladius Relics of War will replace Call of the Sea, which is currently free to claim until March 16th. Yes, check it out. Call of the Sea, right there. Right, this is, like they said, free until March 16th, the morning of. And then it'll be Warhammer 40,000 Gladius Relics of War. Again, look, I promote this all the time. In the gaming world, which in my own perspective, one of the biggest hurdles and obstacles for so many people in gaming is money, right? Gaming's expensive. And even if you're not a PC gamer right now, it doesn't mean that at some point in the future, who knows, you might become a PC gamer. Epic gives away free games every week, sometimes 2 at a time. And so all it takes is for you to spend 3 to 4 minutes making an account, and then 2 to 3 minutes every week just logging into your account and clicking on the title and saying, give me this for free. That's all you have to do. So it's kind of, in as far as I'm concerned, a no-brainer that, you know, any gamer that, especially if you already game on PC, I have over 200 titles right now in my library on the Epic platform. I've paid for less than a handful of them. And there's notable titles, big name titles that they give away. So even if you're not a PC gamer, creating an account, you don't have to even have the application, the desktop app. You can just log into, or just go to their website. You can create your account, log in there every week just through their website, and just grab your free games. And who knows, at some point in the future, you decide to start doing some PC gaming, you'll have a pretty extensive library built up to go ahead and dive into and start playing some games on, you know? So free games, man, it's really, really hard to beat free games. So all I can do is advise people to go take advantage of this kind of thing. Really want everybody to do that themselves, but there you go. Nintendo DS Classic returning after 14 years. And Nintendo DS Classic is returning 14 years after its release, courtesy of a remaster releasing this fall via Nintendo Switch consoles and PC. It's almost been 20 years since the DS was released, and many of its games remain stranded in this era of gaming. This will likely never change, but if you've been itching to jump back into Rune Factory 3, A Fantasy Harvest Moon, Harvest Moon, dude. The original Harvest Moon was a fantastic game. But don't want to dig out your old Nintendo DS, you're in luck because it's the game in question getting the remaster. The remaster is dubbed Rune Factory 3 Special and is coming west on September 5th via the aforementioned platforms and only the aforementioned platforms. As the remaster, it will have newly upgraded visuals, new features, and more. That said, it's not a remake. It's still going to be the same game, but improved and refined for modernity. Yeah. This is a little show here for you. Welcome back, Link. Fishing! Oh, good! Dude, I love fishing in games. We might have to go do some fishing today in Warframe. Look at that big old lunker in there, dude. I'm probably gonna have to mute this video when I upload to to YouTube. You like it, Cappy? Yeah.
Marvelous.
Marvelous. There you go. For those that don't know, Rune Factory 3 Fantasy Harvest Moon is a 2009 RPG meets sim from developer Neverland that actually didn't come to the North America until 2010 and Europe even later in 2011. While the name suggests it's the third game in the series, it's actually the fourth game in the series. Upon release, it garnered a 77 on Metacritic. How well it sold, we don't know, but the series as a whole is fairly niche. So there you go. If you need more like links out of there or anything, I'll link it to you. New Fortnite Resident Evil skin coming out. Fortnite is apparently going to be adding some Resident Evil skins at some point this season based on a leak that appears to have shown off these cosmetics ahead of their scheduled reveals. From what we know so far, it looks like Leon and Claire, the two main characters from Resident Evil 2, who would also star in their own games throughout the series, will be added to the game. One would imagine that other characters will be added too, given how many iconic Resident Evil characters there are, but for now, those two are the only ones that we know about. Twitter user HyperX shared our first look at the skins for Leon and Claire this week, shortly after the game's newest season got underway. This link followed another from before that suggested we'd see this sort of collaboration at some point. With Resident Evil 4 coming pretty soon, it makes sense. The skins don't look like they're quite finished yet, but this latest leak is better than most, in that it gives us an actual look at their models and clear indicators of which characters will be added first. Let's take a look here. Yeah, cool, man. If you want to run around in Fortnite Resident Evil style, they're coming. Yeah, you can see they're a bit rough right now, but you know, Epic does a good job at these mashups. They'll make these look nice for whenever they get released. Of course, those who are fond of these characters from one game or another will know that the zombie slaying pair have multiple different looks that they don throughout the games, so it reasons that we'll see other styles added for them. Leon's jacket he wears in RE4 is one example, and considering how Epic already adds alternate styles for most of its premium crossover skins, we'll probably see the same happen here to imitate some of those other popular looks from throughout the RE series. As for when these skins will be released, we don't have an answer to that yet. Most likely they'll go straight into the item shop for players to purchase either solo or in bundles that'll come with the usual bevy of associated cosmetics. There's always the chance that at least one part of this event could be tied to a series of challenges or something similar. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's coming. It's coming. Hold on. If you wanted the links to those or anything, you wanted to see some more of the skins, there it is. Battlefield 2042 update 4.0.1 previewed. Early patch notes revealed. So Battlefield is getting another new update next week ahead of its release, ahead of the patch release. We've already gotten a look at early look at what's included in the update. While most updates don't present players with their patch notes until the day that the update releases, update 4.0.1 patch notes are live right now for players to peruse. More than just bug fixes, balance adjustments, and more included in this update. AI soldiers should correctly spawn during the prologue stages. Some audio fixes. Gadget stuff. Specialist adjustments. Soldiers' weapons. If you guys are into Battlefield, I'm not going to read all of that, but does it say when this is popping off? Update next week. So the update's supposed to be kicking off sometime next, probably at the beginning of this coming week, I would say. But it doesn't say definitively. But if you need more out of that, if you've been playing Battlefield, there you go. Looks like Square Enix is still planning to release multiple blockchain games. Oh, God, dude. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so just to like get you up to speed, summarize this real quick for you. Square Enix has been very public and vocal about and upfront about how they are heavily focused on diving into the Web3 NFT blockchain space, which is actually terrifying and gross to me. This is one of those companies I grew up being in love with as a game developer. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. There are many other Final Fantasy games that I love. You know, Final Fantasy 6 or 3 for the US, whichever way you want to look at it. Final Fantasy 10. You know, there are a lot of games that I like out of Square. Final Fantasy for sure. And Final Fantasy 1. Dude, that's the first Final Fantasy I ever played. I love it. And to see them be so heavily like just greed focused, because that's what this is. I've not seen a developer yet be incorporating anything that has to do with blockchain, Web3, NFT in a way that is mutually beneficial, really, to the consumer or the gamer and themselves both. It's just a greed focused kind of thing. It's all I see. And so ever since they've announced this heavy pivot for them and being focused on diving into the blockchain, Web3, NFT space, it's been scary as far as I've been concerned. From my viewpoint anyways. And recently they ousted their CEO. Their CEO that they, basically was like, their CEO is going to be retired. It was like a nice way of being like, yo, you're done here. And I was hopeful that at this point they would back off of this stance, but it appears that's not the case. It appears that they are still just going to keep pushing into this. I'm so afraid that this is just going to significantly affect their products moving forward with a bunch of monetization, and the quality will end up suffering because of, as far as I can tell, again, what this shows is just a heavy mindset towards greed and not an actual consideration anymore for the quality of content being brought to the table as much as it is how much can we get, And we see what happens to developers all the time when they go this route. Square has today released its outline of financial results briefing, which has held on 3rd February 2023. From the sounds of a comment from current CEO and President Yosuke Matsuda, blockchain is still very much in the company's future. In response to the question about sustainable growth, Matsuda said the company had a, quote, good spread of new releases in the fiscal year and beyond, but then ended by saying, we also hope that you will look forward to the blockchain games we plan to launch later. Square has been one of the biggest video game developers to get involved in NFTs and blockchain, both joining a blockchain itself and creating Final Fantasy NFTs, much to the dismay of many fans all around the world. In fact, President Matsuda, who is stepping down from his role this summer, like I said, and being replaced by director Takashi Kiryu, has been the biggest spokesperson for the medium in the past. Sounds like the company is continuing to press forward in the market. The Q&A that came at the end of a financial report unfortunately didn't spell a ton of good news for the company. Matsuda revealed that many of the new small and mid-sized titles we launched this year did not perform as well as we had expected. The company has also shut down a number of mobile games over the past few months. Yeah, they've a lot of stuff has been underperforming for them for what they were expecting. Square will be relying on Theater Rhythm, A Final Bar Line, Octopath Traveler 2, and Paranormal Sight, The Seven Mysteries of Hanjo, for a bit of good news in terms of Switch and multi-platform releases. This is the same report that does touch on a non-Switch game in Forspoken, which launched this January, saying sales for the open world RPG have been lackluster. That is probably a very delicate way to put that. That game got blasted. They actually absorbed the development company that was a subsidiary. Who was it that developed Forspoken? I can't even remember at this point. It was a subsidiary of Square, and Square was like, you guys are done. We're absorbing you. If you didn't know that. Who was it? Who was it that made Forspoken? Yeah, this game has not done very well. Luminous. Luminous Productions was a subsidiary of Square. They are done. After the release of Forspoken and how much criticism there was around it and the fact that it wasn't doing very well, they just basically dissolved Luminous and absorbed it. Yeah, what song is that, Cappy? I don't know that song. Or was it? Let me hear you say, na na na. Is that one? I know that one. Even with the 3 other titles mentioned above, Square Enix predicts that it will see considerable downside risk to our earnings. We really hope Square isn't banking everything on blockchain. For us Switch owners, at least, we still have the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters to look forward to. Oh, okay. I do that all the time. I'll like wake up in the morning and I'll just have like songs stuck in my head. It can be songs from commercials. I mean, it'll be all kinds of random stuff. I've had a lot of Mac Miller stuff stuck in my head here recently, man. I've been listening to a lot of Mac Miller, though. So, I don't know, dude. Square's scary right now. Xbox Game Pass losing one of the best games ever made. Game Pass is losing one of the best games in its library, and according to Wikipedia, one of the greatest games ever made. More specifically, Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate subscribers across Xbox One, Series S, X, and PC are running out of time to play Undertale, as it's leaving the subscription in 5 days on March 15th. Joining it are F1 2020, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Young Souls. This is not Contrusi Route Zero. This is supposed to be Kentucky. Kentucky Route Zero. Paradise Killer, Zero Escape, the Nunnery games, and Goat Simulator. There are some other notable games here, but none more notable than Undertale. Rip Goat Sim. Yeah, dude, yeah. For those that don't know, Undertale is an RPG made by one single individual developer, Toby Fox. Released in 2015, it's widely considered one of the greatest games of all time, evident by its 93 on Metacritic. It is a highly regarded game, yeah. And of course, it won a few Game of the Year awards, despite releasing the same year as a couple of other all-time greats in the form of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I'm sorry, dude. The game had great content, but that game's a mess, dude. I never played it. I never played Undertale. I just have heard a lot of good things about it. Bloodborne. I'm sorry, dude. The Witcher 3, there's some great content in that game. But it's a mess, dude. Still to this day, it's a mess. Welcome to Undertale. In this RPG, you control a human who falls underground in the world of monsters. Now you must find your way out or stay trapped forever, reads an official and brief pitch for the game. Here you go, if you want to know what Undertale is. You didn't dig it, Dutch, huh? You want to play it, man, you've only got 4 days left. Roughly. As long as Undertale is available via the Xbox Game Pass library, it's available to purchase with a 20% discount if you're a subscriber. This means that rather than pay $15 for it, you will save $3 and only have to pay $12 for it. Once the game leaves Xbox Game Pass, this deal will expire. As for whether it will ever be added back in the future, we don't know. It's possible, but not common for games to be added, leave, and then come back. Yeah. Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. Yeah. I don't know. If you need more out of this article, here you go. Try to keep people up to date with what's coming and going from the subscription services as much as possible. So, PlayStation Plus subscribers divided over new free game. So PS Plus subscribers are divided over one of March's free PS Plus games that were made available to PS4 and PS5 users earlier this week. According to many PlayStation fans on the internet, March's free PS Plus games are a bit weaker compared to previous months. If you don't know, as of this week, subscribers can download and play Battlefield 2042, Minecraft Dungeons & Code Vein. After its disastrous launch, many are anticipating checking back in on Battlefield 2042, which, like we said, we just touched on a couple of articles ago. New patch coming out at the beginning of this week for it. Yeah. It is on Game Pass. You're right. Thanks, Dutch. Yep. Thanks, buddy. While Minecraft Dungeons has piqued the interest of many simply because it's a Minecraft game, Code Vein, on the other hand, is a bit of a question mark for many. Over on the PlayStation Plus Reddit page, subscribers seem to be divided over the game's inclusion. Some have labeled the game as disappointing, while others have suggested it saves the month. Of course, this is not an exhaustive impression, but it does provide a temperature check. Quote, I'm heavily disappointed with Code Vein, says one PS Plus subscriber. I like the anime aesthetic a lot, but the combat and animations were some of the saddest things I've ever seen, and this is coming from a AAA company. Quote, I know we're supposed to whinge here, but at the very least, give Code Vein a fair shake. It's easily one of the best Souls-likes out there. Had I not already owned it, would have made this month worth it alone, argued another PS Plus subscriber. Really? Obviously, the sample size here is small. Look, everybody's going to have their own respective opinion about stuff, right? So, okay. I know what Code Vein is, and I don't know, I've never played it, but just from what I know about it, I don't know that I would consider it one of the best Souls-like games out there. But, to each their own, Obviously, the sample size here is small. Most subscribers have been fixated on Battlefield and Minecraft Dungeons for obvious reasons. so it's hard to gauge just how subscribers as a whole feel about Code Vein. That said, the fact that not many are talking about it may be the only indicator needed about how it's viewed. For the game itself, Code Vein is a 2019 action RPG published by Bandai and developed by one of its internal teams. Upon release, the game garnered somewhat mixed reviews, garnering Metacritic scores in the 70s. Still managed to shift 2 million copies. A respectable return for a game of its budget, scope, and expectations. 70s is you probably usually that's what I say. Like something in the 70s is not going to blow you away, right? Wait, what? So a 70s is a respectable score. It's probably going to entertain you, but it's not something that is necessarily probably going to blow you away, right? In the face of certain debt, yeah. Here, I'll just let you guys watch this.
Hello.
Launched Fortnite for a joke, and someone apparently was on it, like on your account.
It's all right.
Didn't play last season and got Doomslayer. Instead of 1,000 V-Bucks, now I'm 1,850. Yo, dude.
So,
Sick.
it
Might
is
want to
you.
change up some of your security stuff for that account, though.
The red mist showed up after the queen was defeated.
Unless you have
Jail
people
of
that
the
you let
Mists.
play on there or whatever.
That was the name people gave to
Yeah.
the world inside.
We think there must be a source somewhere.
Your power can clear the miasma. If you could help us.
Well then, you're one of us. What's the plan now?
You know the plan.
The Queen's regeneration couldn't be stopped.
The queen?
So you locked her away. Fragments of the Queen's body were locked inside of successors. You have the power to quell the relics at last. I beg you, relieve them of their suffering.
Look who it is, guys.
I'm here to take back all of the relics you stole.
Look who decided to show up.
Such an important job. We fight. We drink blood. We revive.
What's
fight
up,
some
Wick?
more.
We were all human once.
Probably Wick's fault, Dutch. Here. There you go.
Alright, that one was on me.
Yeah, it was Wick's fault. See? He said it was. So there's Code Vein. If anybody's interested, that's what you would be in store for there. Might be worth a play. I mean, again, 70s is respectable. Metacritic score. So, probably not going to be blown away, but you'll have a good time in it probably. If it's a game that looks interesting and fun to you. Nintendo discounts popular Switch games for Mario Day, plus the rest of the week's best tech deals. We'll stick to the Mario sales here. We've already hit on some of this a couple of days ago, I think. For the past few years, Nintendo has celebrated March 10th as Mario Day. That was yesterday, right? A celebration of the company's beloved hero, plumber, kart racer, boxing ref, doctor, and lead mascot. March 10th equals Mario, you see, yes. This is mostly just a clever marketing campaign, but for those looking to pad their Switch libraries, Nintendo is using the event to discount several games starring the little mustachioed man, with hits like Super Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on sale for $40. Mario Kart 8 released 10 years ago, and it's on sale for $40. Just saying. We have a full breakdown of the sale below, and Beyond Mario Matters, our latest deal roundup includes Fire TV, Apple Pencil, stuff like that. Yeah. Worth it. Is it, though? Or are you getting robbed? Nintendo has, I mean, look, they wouldn't keep these games at these prices if they didn't sell at these prices. So people are buying them, and that's why these Nintendo's able to keep the prices at these price points. If people didn't buy them at these price points, they wouldn't be able to stick at it. But I mean, this is what Nintendo does, dude. You know, I mean, you talk about games like their top tier games, you know, the Zelda games, Mario Kart games, a lot of the Mario games, stuff like that. You know, they come out at a price point, they stay at that price point, and if you're able to get a sell on it, it's very rare. And that sell will go, it'll be over quickly, and it'll go straight back up to the price point at which that game released at. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe released in 2014. That's 9 years ago. And it is still at a $60 price point. Here, let me help you, dog. Oh. Look, I mean, here's the big issue, though. Okay, let's talk about this because I've talked about it a lot here. Yeah, stop looking at your phone, dude, and pay attention to the road. Go eat a double down. Yo, go buy me one. I'll give you the beta code for D4. Cappy, nice, yeah. Quit texting and driving, dog. Are you using text to speech? You need to start saying "there" correctly for which, you know, which version you're trying to get put into the text. Here's the deal, dude. I wouldn't have as much of an issue with it if Nintendo wasn't so terrible about the backwards compatibility stuff, right? But this is what Nintendo does. Mario Kart, this is the perfect example, and I've talked about it a lot here recently. Mario Kart 8 released on Wii U. So they had a bunch of people buy it on Wii U for the full price point, right? Then they released it, they brought out their new console, which was the Switch, and then everybody that already owned Mario Kart 8 that had it on Wii U and wanted a Switch had to buy a Switch, and then they couldn't play Mario Kart 8 on the Switch that they already owned. They had to buy Mario Kart 8 again. And this is what drives me crazy about Nintendo. Their backwards compatibility is trash, as with many of the other console players, right? This is where they get you. And Nintendo, this is what makes Nintendo's price point so very, very, very molding. Yeah? So they hardly ever do sales. Their games stay at the price point at what they release at. They want you to buy it and then buy it again whenever their new console comes out, which is terrible. Nobody should have to buy a game again just for the next console. That's terrible. You're getting robbed. They're about to do the same thing with Tears of the Kingdom. This is a play that they do that people don't think about. You know, why would they develop Tears of the Kingdom for their next console when they can release it now, right? They've got Tears of the Kingdom coming out, and guess what? Nintendo's already stated they're releasing these, right? They're releasing their top tier games now at $70 moving forward, yeah? So Tears of the Kingdom is going to be $70 for the Switch. They've already talked about there's going to be DLC for it. There's going to be amiibos for it and all that stuff, right? So you're going to get all this content. You're going to pay probably, you know, just for Tears of the Kingdom and the DLC, you're talking probably $100 US, if not a little bit more, for that game for the Switch. So then a year later, the new console is going to come out. Year and a half later, the new console is going to come out for Nintendo. So you're going to fork over another $350, $450, somewhere between there for the new console. and then you won't be able to play Tears of the Kingdom on the new console because Nintendo sucks at backwards compatibility. And they do it on purpose. So if you want to play Tears of the Kingdom on the new console, you have to go out and pay $100 again because the game doesn't ever go on sale. And the price point of it doesn't ever reduce either for the new console also. Right? This is where console makers scam gamers all the time. It's gross. Can you? Because this is another thing that Nintendo's terrible about, right? Nintendo is constantly changing their online platform from one iteration of console to the next. Now, what they're saying right now is that they're not going to do it this time. But this is what's scaring everybody, right? This is what's scaring everybody is that Nintendo also does this. And I've been harping on Nintendo for a while about this as well. Instead of Nintendo just having Nintendo Online, they've got like, you know, the Switch Online, right? And they've had like Wii Online or Wii U Online or 3DS eShop or whatever. Instead of them having a one-stop shop where everything online happens, it's all-encompassing for all of their platforms. You can buy all their digital content. This is where everybody goes that has a Nintendo platform, no matter how old or new it is. You know what I mean? They start a new online platform for every new console, and they get rid of the old ones. So people can't access old content anymore. They're about to shut down the Nintendo, the 3DS eShop in about 2 weeks. Less than that. You know? Why? You shouldn't have to. It should just be part of Nintendo Online. It's just another... dude, it's all part of a scam, I'm telling you. It's so gross. It feels terrible, but people buy into it because they're not thinking about it like that. They don't think about it. They just keep forking over money. And Nintendo's like, cool, man. Just keep giving it to me, you know? Wait, bro. I just saw what you wrote. Hey, man. I'm glad. So, you know, even though Nintendo's not the only platform that's really bad about backwards compatibility, they are the most disgusting in regards to what they do here with their online platforms. The price point's never going down, making sure people have to repurchase games on the next platform at the same price point a game was a decade ago. Like, it is really, really, really gross, man. It's really gross. And then if you want to play games online, because if they're not, you know, they're not already getting enough money out of you, you have to pay for, you know, this is another thing that's bad about consoles. You have to pay for the online you know, if you want to play multiplayer on their platform, you're going to have to pay for their online services, right? Even though they're making all this other money off of you in these scummy mechanics. It's pretty rough, dude. It's pretty rough. But I mean, if you look, the fact of the matter is, it's hard to find sales. Right now, there's some Nintendo sales going on. So if you are looking to get some Nintendo content at a lower price point than it normally is, then there's a link for you. So this is the last article I have for the day. If anybody wants to add anything that maybe I haven't hit on, you want to address anything, let me know in chat and we'll take a look at it before we move on to Warframe gaming for the rest of the day, okay? Go questing. We all like going questing, right? Go questing with this Build Your Own bundle. 7 games for $10. A great way to stock up on indie RPG, survival games, and point-and-click adventures. Scoop up 7 PC games for just $10 with Fanatical's new Build Your Own Saga bundle. Like other Fanatical Build Your Own deals, customers who select from a list of 16 games to cobble together their own bundle. The full bundle lets you pick 7 games for $10, but you can opt for just 3 games for $5 or 5 games for $8 if you want to spend a bit less. I bet you have some more stuff to look at. Sweats during survival mission. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm ready to jump in. As the bundle's name implies, the list of available games is stacked with adventure-focused indies. Some highlights include The Enchanted Cave 2, a roguelike action and RPG where players explore a 100-floor cave filled with monsters, secrets, and loot to collect and sell back in town if you survive long enough. Another noteworthy title you can grab is Wife Quest. I've been playing that game for a while. I'm winning. This humorous pixel art platformer incorporates RPG mechanics and action combat into its classic side-scrolling gameplay. Players control the hot-headed warrior Mia on a quest to save her kidnapped husband. Nice, dude. There are plenty of other RPGs like Everhood and Windscape. Survival games like the Wild 8 and Mayhem in Single Valley. And narrative-driven experiences like the FMV point-and-click adventure game Dark Nights with Poe and Monroe to pick from. Peep the full list of possible games to add to your Build Your Own Saga bundle below, or start mixing and matching your own selections over at Fanatical. Also, all purchases also include a coupon code for 5% off a future Fanatical purchase. Yeah, here's all the list of games. They've got links to them and stuff too. I'll bring up Fanatical so you guys can take a look also. It's a cool site. Fanatical is pretty good. They have... Fanatical always does, it's a legit site. They do cool things like these bundles. They do sales. And you'll see, games that, whenever Hogwarts Legacy released, for example, Hogwarts Legacy released, and it was automatically on sale through this, and it was just Steam keys, you know what I mean? So, you could get, basically the deluxe version of Hogwarts Legacy for the price that the standard version was if you bought it through here. It was already on discount and stuff. So, and it's just buying it here. You get the Steam key, take it over, put it into your Steam account, and boom, you're good to go, So, you can see they run, flash sales. They do these mystery bundles where you get, a certain amount of mystery keys every once in a while. Like you pay $7, you get 10 mystery keys, so you don't know what you're gonna get. They run a bunch of sales all the time. RPG deals. And about every time you buy something on here, you'll get a coupon for your next purchase. It's like 5% off, stuff like that. They do the bundles. Here's the where's the quest bundle? Where's that? Did I miss it? But they do the build your own. They got Bethesda favorites. There's all kinds of stuff. So I don't know, man. It's cool. It's a good site. Pretty neat. Check it out. Check it out, man. There you go. That's the jam, guys. That's the news, man. You guys rock. Appreciate you. Thanks for always being a part of what we do. It's amazing. Hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend so far, whatever time it is for you. We're going to work our way into some Warframe. We've been playing Warframe for the past few days. I haven't been in that game since really significant play the game since 2014, and I took a quick look at it back in 2017, I think, but I didn't really play much. I just looked at what the game had done, and that was it. So it's been fun getting back in there. If anybody wants to play, it's a free-to-play game. It's really neat. Wait, what? What do you mean, dude? What are you talking about?
Now that we're friends again, is it okay if I pet you?
Look at that. Thanks, dude.
Sparks89 just resubscribed for 8 months. Oh.
Yo. Miss Bat. What's up, my friend? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The amazing support, Miss Bat. Thank you, thank you. How's the family, my friend? I appreciate it. That's incredibly generous. Thank you. That's what the game is screaming at me. That's funny, Pinky. Yeah, so we're gonna go play Warframe. It's a free-play game. It's a lot of fun. I'm having to learn a lot. The game has evolved greatly since I originally played it, but I'm lucky enough to have some community members that have stuck with it a bit over the years, and they're keeping me on the right track and keeping me knowledgeable on it and stuff. So it's been a good time. We're gonna play with friendos today and tomorrow, and then we'll get into Divinity: Original Sin with our buddy here. My name is Pinky, and our mod. Starting on Monday. Cool. So that's the plan right now. But thank you for the amazing news segment. We're gonna get into this gaming stuff, but before we head over there, if anybody is potentially checking this out later as a VOD on the YouTube channel or highlight on the Twitch channel or any of our other content, gameplay episodes or clips and highlights, whatever the case may be, and you're enjoying the content, then come hang out with us, man. We go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day. We start off all of our streams with video gaming news, and then we dive into whatever gaming content we have planned for the rest of the day, okay? We have a great time. We would love to have more like-minded, cool people come hang out. And other than that, man, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. Have a great rest of your Saturday. We'll catch everybody tomorrow for March 12th edition of Video Gaming News and more Warframe gameplay. Cool?